One of the hardest parts of never having been in a relationship growing up and struggling with romantic connection wasn't just that I was carrying my own longing and yearning and I was struggling with seeing my worth. I felt as if I was carrying everyone else's. So my family's, my friends, people in my life, I was carrying their hopes for me as well. And I was dashing all of those. And so I was holding all of that on top of like my own. That's why it's so harmful when society values romantic relationships above anything else. It's those people who potentially struggle to get into those that will then be on the outside having to bear the weight of questions like, every Christmas or every Thanksgiving or every holiday season being like, what's new for you? And knowing like the coded what's new for you behind that is them wanting you to be able to say that you're in a relationship or you're dating somebody. I had neighbors, friends. It was this weird way in which it was asked that people could potentially say like, oh, you're just reading into it. But no, I wasn't. And I was really lucky because my immediate family, like my parents, my brothers, they never made me feel bad about it. But it was almost worse because them not making me feel bad about it, I almost took that on myself of like, I'm bringing shame upon our family because I can't connect in the way that society says is what's supposed to happen. And so it was almost like all of my longing and my yearning was also to be counted as like acceptable within my own family structure. And I know that there are people whose families make them feel like they're less than, and I was very lucky that they didn't. But even though that they didn't, I took that on myself to be like, yep, you're the problem, you're bringing shame, you're embarrassing because you can't say that you're connecting like other people are. Then you add the Utah Mormon culture and it's like 10 times worse. If you're like over the hill and not somebody seen as desirable in your like mid or early 30s, Utah is like 20, 21. I was 21 years old and it was like, well, you can go on a mission because you haven't done what you're supposed to do, which was find a companion. So I lived with too much shame, and that's why I talk about it now and will continue to talk about it, because we say, okay, well, what's to be done? How do we fix whatever this is? And I think we're on the way there, because if we can lessen the importance of romantic relationships, if we can highlight that there is so much luck involved in timing, if we can begin to ask different questions of people in our lives and show up in different ways about like what's interesting to them or what they value that has nothing to do about who they're coupled with, that can only help us all. And for those who are still longing and yearning and struggling with those pains, please set down the pains of everybody else. You don't need to carry those too. Know that you're enough. Know that you have worth and value as you are. And luck and timing have so much to do with whether you get into a relationship or not. I'm sending you so much love. I'm wanting so much healing for your life in or out of a relationship.